So the Black Flag remake, we know that it's coming. It's been rumored, speculated about a bunch. We know that it's almost certainly the team from Skull and Bones working on it in Singapore. They have a bunch of assets they've made for pirate stuff for that game. And so now they're able to just kind of work on this remake and tie everything together. And I've said for a long time, like for Ubisoft, this should be an absolute slam dunk. Will it be? Time will tell. That's part of what I want to talk about today. But it does seem like we're getting close. Assassin's Creed Interface took this screenshot, or had somebody send the screenshot. But basically on some people's PlayStation accounts, they are seeing wish list basically being added to the Assassin's Creed Black Flag store page. And even on like the PSN account, the Black Flag title has an announced tag put on it. And then they took it off and then put it back on, then took it off again. What I'm guessing is that they're doing behind the scenes like store stuff where they're trying to get the store page prepped. And as part of that, they're like doing the tags to prepare it. And somebody just, because there's already an Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag store page, they just put the tag on the wrong one. That's my guess. Somebody caught it, and a bunch of other people validated it and checked it. Now, the reason why I say this is a slam dunk is because even people who don't like Assassin's Creed love Black Flag. It's one of the most beloved cult classic Assassin's Creed games. People just love it. They just do. And to capitalize on it should, in theory, be easy. Like you should be able to do that relatively effortlessly. You just bring it into the new engine, you update the graphics. This was done by Slider V2. I showed this on stream maybe a month or two ago. They basically modded Red Dead Redemption 2. So this is Guarma, and put Kenway into it, but like changed Arthur's skin to Kenway. It actually works quite well, but it gives you an idea of just what a graphically impressive Black Flag could look like. And it looks really, really good. Looks very good. So if they're able to pull this off and get to a high graphical fidelity, make it look like Shadows did on that level, I think we're playing ball. The tricky thing is like, where do you draw the line? What do you remake? What do you keep the same? And this is where I insist I think they could get into trouble. My preference is that they don't change anything structural. And I've thought about this a lot. I've gone back and forth because of course, like my dream pirate game of sail the ship anywhere, get off the ship anywhere and just go dock on that island. I want to go and explore. New treasure maps have been added so you can find new things. I understand that's basically just a sequel, and it's unrealistic to expect that. So I think if they can just keep the game basically the same, but maybe you update it so there's no load screens anymore, you can go straight into like Kingston or whatever, and you don't have to load into it. Stuff like that would be a nice change. But I think they should keep the questing the same. I think they should keep the quest design the same. They should keep, if there's trailing missions, just keep them. Just keep them. Don't try to get fancy and cut it out. We understand it's a decade-old game. I'm okay with it. I think don't mess with it too much. That's kind of my perspective. I know some people are like, don't do that. No, please take them out. My thought is the second that you open that door and you start to take things out and put different things in, you got to remember it's not being replaced by the team that made Black Flag. It's being replaced by the team that made Skull and Bones. So I'm not sure what they would put in its place would be necessarily better. Okay. And this brings me to one of the other things, okay, which if you're just modernizing it and bringing it into a new graphical standard place, whatever, and you're refining controls and you're making it run better and fixing the damn cloud saves so they don't delete themselves. If you're doing that stuff and people can just sail around and revisit this thing from a decade ago, I think people have a good time. But one of the things that's been brought up has been mentioned by a few people I've seen, but most notably by The Hidden One. Now, The Hidden One has a YouTube channel, Assassin's Creed fan, makes good content, really thought-provoking content on the franchise if you're interested. One of the things he said was, can we at least universally agree that if Ubisoft ruins the Black Flag remake by filling it with static and robotic cutscenes like they did with Shadows, they are beyond saving and deserve to be cooked? Imagine if they cock up this scene. Yeah, can you imagine, dude? This, I think, is my primary concern. Okay. this, and I agree with Hidden One on this. In AC Shadows, this is the bit and cutscene that he shared for it. They have these dynamic cutscenes, okay? These are for side quest conversations. Most main story quests, if not all of them, but I think most, at the very least, have motion capture stuff done manually. And if, just to be perfectly clear, that's when you have the actor wearing the suit, they go into the sound stage, do the T-pose, and act out the scene, and then that's motion captured in. So everything is like a staged play, you know, everything is acted out. With these conversations, it doesn't work that way. With these conversations, you have a like conversation tool or editor in the engine, and you basically have the two NPCs here. The cameras are kind of dynamic, so they swap back and forth based on who's talking. You set the poses, you have it change what the poses are based on what's being said. And basically, as you go through the script, if this was like the script of what they're saying in the editor, you put, okay, on this word, have them move to arms cross. On this one, have them release the arms cross and maybe go like this as they're thinking. And you can kind of build out the encounter and the animations that way. In Shadows, though, it's very stiff. It's very stiff. The clip I bring up all the time from Odyssey, so I'll bring it up here, AC Odyssey Superior. So even in this game, which was from the Quebec team, so the same team that did Odyssey or did Shadows, this was a side quest. This was not a main story quest, and this is still technically using these encounter editors. This is not full motion capture. These gestures he's doing are part of those dynamic gestures and animations that they've built out. They didn't have the actors stand next to each other and motion capture this. This is dynamic, okay? And I think that it looks way better. I think some of these individual like crosses and walks are maybe mocapped, but the individual gestures, you see Alexios and Cassandra do these same motions over and over and over again. In Shadows, it's just so stiff in comparison. And they're all kind of like this, okay? Now, this does not necessarily a bad game make, okay? It doesn't make a game bad just because the side quest dialogue is stiff. Kingdom Come Deliverance, one of my favorite games, has very clunky, stiff animations in side quests. It just does. And it's okay. Okay, so it doesn't inherently, by itself, make a game bad. But my fear for the Black Flag remake is shared with the Hidden One, which is if they go, and this is why I say, maybe we don't start messing with it. Maybe we be very cautious, because if they start taking some of the motion captured cutscenes from Black Flag that are so beautifully done and well executed, and they start replacing it with these more stiff dynamic scenes, which is similar to what I think Blizzard's done that. Was it Reforged? Like Warcraft 3, I forget what it is, it's been a while. But they did something similar to that where they downgraded a lot of the cutscenes. I think that will be a way to really tick people off, and I really hope that they haven't done that. Now with Shadows, to be fair, specifically, I asked them about this when I went to the studio in January, because it came off way stiffer than it did in Odyssey. And I'm like, your last game seemed to have much more dynamics, much more movement. What I was told, which you can take it or leave it, what I was told was that when they started doing research on cultural customs, when they brought in actors who were Japanese, when they brought in historians and stuff, and started actually looking at how people interacted and how people in this culture would have spoken to each other, they found that, shocker, they didn't talk like mercenaries in Greece. They didn't yell Malaka constantly, and they didn't gesture wildly. It's a much stiffer thing. Whether or not that's true, I have no idea. I don't know cultural dialogue customs in Japan. Shocker, I know. So I don't know if that's true, but what they did say, and what I know is true, is that they redid all of them. They cut pretty much all of these dialogue animations from Odyssey, and they replaced them and redid them. There are still some animations shared, of course, from Odyssey and from Origins and Valhalla that you'll see in the game. I think it's like the jump. There's like a little jump where their arms flay out a little. Some of those are copied, but they redid all the animations for these dynamic conversations, which I think is undoubtedly true. Whether that was needed or necessary, I don't know. I don't think that people would have been that upset if you had Nawe and Yasuke talking with these animations, with like the gesture of the hand, with the nods, with the arms crossed. I don't think people would have freaked out too much, or more than they already were, but maybe they would. You killed Mater and had sex with Pater. It's a fantastic quest. Oh, it's so good. But this is why I think it's a slippery slope. Once you start changing stuff, you can get in trouble, because once you start changing stuff, it's like, when do you stop? And that's why for me, I'm like, it's a remake of a game from 2014. I think that's okay. It's a game from 2014. There's going to be weird stuff with it. Okay. If they do go so far as to like overhaul some of the tailing missions and stuff, eavesdropping missions, I'll be pleasantly surprised, and I'll be pleased with that. I don't think that's likely, but if it happens, I'll be excited. I'll be pleased. Time will tell. But I also don't want to get my hopes up that it's going to be a major, huge transformational remake that adds in a ton of stuff and basically just turns it into a totally new thing. I don't want to get my hopes up there. I think it's most likely that this is more of a Last of Us Part 1 remake than it is a Mafia Definitive Edition remake. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay, because I like Black Flag. I love Black Flag, and I'm okay with that. I think pricing will come into it. The fact it's been 10 years, it's been 2 console generations, and it's almost certainly going to be a major graphical leap. I think that will help it a lot. Part of the problem with The Last of Us Part 1 remake was that it didn't look bad in The Last of Us Remastered. Then they remade it, and it looked better, but like it didn't seem like that big of a leap, and it ran like crap as well, which was also part of it, but at least on PC. But with this, I'm excited to see what they do with it. And it seems like they are preparing, in theory, to overhaul a good amount of stuff. They're preparing to announce it. They've got the store pages that are having some stuff altered. I'm guessing if timelines follow roughly with what they did with like Shadows, for example, they probably do a little teaser trailer in May or something saying, look forward to Ubisoft Forward in June, when we're going to do a gameplay reveal of the Black Flag remake. And that's probably what they're going to do, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I just hope that they are able to retain some of that magic of AC for Black Flag, because some of those sequences that are motion captured are just so freaking good. Like this, you can't just redo this with dynamic animations. You know, this, I hope they've kept the motion capture data, or at least it's transferable a little bit, you know, because man, this just hits you right in the feels. Oh, hopium. Yeah, probably. But we'll see. This is why it's really, in some ways, it's high risk, high reward, remastering and remaking rather a game that people love so dearly. Because if you do a good job, they will reward you by buying it in droves. If you do a bad job, they will crucify you. And I really hope they do a good job, because I would love to play modernized Black Flag. I would love to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. And no, I don't have any secret special information or anything. I'm genuinely very hopeful. And I really hope that they pull it off, man. All it needs is 60 FPS patch. I mean, they've got cloud save issues too. I thought I was alone. It turns out I'm not alone. A lot of other people have run into it. There's a bug where some cloud saves are just getting like screwed over. And I don't know what it is. He took my thing. Red flag.